Okay, let's unpack this. When you first hear affiliate marketing, what's the picture that probably pops into most people's heads?
Usually it's all about traffic,
Yeah.
right? Getting clicks, sending people straight to an offer, hoping they buy. It feels very sort of transactional.
Yeah, like a numbers game. Get the traffic, get the clicks, maybe make a commission. But the stuff we've been digging into paints a much richer picture.
Definitely.
Hmm.
There's this crucial layer underneath that whole traffic game. A strategy that's presented not just as, like, helpful, but pretty essential if you want to build something real, something that lasts online.
And that foundation, the thing that comes up again and again, it seems to circle back to one core thing that honestly a lot of newer folks might overlook or just not prioritize enough.
An email list, building that list.
Right. And there's so much noise out there about email lists and affiliate marketing in general. I mean, it's easy to get totally swamped, isn't it? Hard to know what really matters.
Totally. Information overload.
So our mission with this deep dive is really to try and cut through that for you. We want to pull out the most important nuggets, look squarely at the pros and the cons,
Yeah, what actually works, according to what we've seen, and what really doesn't.
and show you precisely why building this list isn't just some optional extra, but more like the bedrock for a sustainable online business.
Yeah, we found a really strong consensus. Focusing only on, say, content or chasing social media followers while letting list building slide. That's flagged as one of the biggest mistakes right out of the gate.
And you can see why, can't you? People pour all this energy into platforms Facebook, Instagram, maybe relying only on Google traffic.
Building up a presence there?
But the core problem, the real vulnerability, is you don't own those connections. You're basically just renting access to that audience.
Exactly right. Think about it. A platform changes its algorithm, which happens all the time.
Or worse, disappears completely. We've seen networks vanish.
Right. And suddenly, poof, your access to that audience you worked so hard to build, gone. Just like that.
Now, contrast that with email. When someone gives you their email address, they actively subscribe.
That's your contact. You own that list. It's a direct line you control.
You can reach them whenever you have something genuinely valuable to share.
And yeah, okay, you won't get 100% open rate on every single email.
Yeah.
The average is often somewhere like, what, 10 to 20%?
Something like that. But even that is way higher and definitely more predictable than the organic reach you usually get on social media now.
Oh, totally. Social media posts are fighting those crazy, complex algorithms constantly. You never really know who sees your stuff.
So, yes, there's better visibility with email. But maybe the real power, the lasting power, is something deeper. Relationship building.
That's it. Email lands in someone's personal inbox. It feels more intimate, more direct than just scrolling past a post on a feed.
Allows for a proper connection.
And that connection is fundamental because, like one piece we looked at put it, selling is essentially a transference of feeling. People buy from people they know, like, and trust.
And your email list is the perfect place to build that trust over time
Right.
by consistently showing up with value.
Exactly. And that trust, that's the direct link to sustainable income. Nurturing that relationship means higher conversion rates when you do recommend something.
Plus, it kind of insulates you from those algorithm mood swings we mentioned, helps create more consistent income.
And think about this. An active, engaged email list isn't just a list. It's a real business asset. It adds tangible value if you ever wanted to sell your online business.
Okay, so building the list is vital. How do you actually get people to sign up? Because just slapping a subscribe here form on your site, that doesn't really work anymore, does it?
No way. The research is pretty clear on that. Conversion rates for those basic forms are often dismal, like 0.5% to 1% maybe.
Yeah, it makes sense. We're all just so bombarded online, We tune out generic demands for our info if there's nothing in it for us right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the engine that really drives list building, the strategy that gets emphasized over and over, is using an incentive. What most people call a lead magnet.
Lead magnet
Okay.
or freebie, sign-up incentive, content upgrade. Lots of names for it.
Right. But the idea is simple. You offer something genuinely valuable, something useful right now, in exchange for their email address. It's a fair trade.
And that approach works much, much better.
Dramatically better. Using the right lead magnet strategically, you could see conversion rates jump up into the 10%, maybe even 20% range sometimes.
Wow, that's a huge difference. So what kind of things work well as lead magnets?
Well, there are loads of examples. The key is solving a specific problem or giving a quick win. Things like,
Like guides or ebooks, things that feel substantial, maybe dive deep into a topic.
yeah, those can be great. Or checklists and cheat sheets. People love those because they're super actionable, save time, make sure you don't miss stuff.
Okay, what else?
Spreadsheets or calculators are cool if they solve a tricky or tedious task. Think mortgage calculators, calorie counters, things like that.
Right, provides instant utility.
Quizzes or surveys can be really engaging too. People like discovering something about themselves, and bonus, it helps you learn about your audience.
Ah, good point. For segmentation later, maybe?
Exactly. Online tools or little web apps can offer ongoing value too.
Webinars or online workshops give direct interaction, build connection.
And don't forget simple things like coupons or special deals, especially if you're in e-commerce or promoting products where discounts matter. Hugely powerful then.
The absolute crucial thing here, though, seems to be relevance and real value, right? It can't just be fluff.
Absolutely. It has to be something your specific audience genuinely wants, something directly related to your niche that makes them think, yeah, okay, this is worth giving my email for, not just some quickly repackaged blog post.
Got it. And where do you promote these lead magnets effectively?
Standard places are dedicated landing pages, sometimes called squeeze pages, but also putting them right on your homepage or embedding them within relevant articles or blog posts makes sense.
So people find them naturally while reading content they're already interested in.
Right. And some folks even use paid ads, Google, Facebook, to drive traffic directly to pages offering the lead magnet.
Okay, so you have your great incentive, you're promoting it. What's next? The actual capture mechanism, forms, and pop-ups.
Yep, the opt-in form itself. And it's more than just fields to fill. Think of it like a tiny sales pitch for the freebie.
Needs to sell the benefits of the lead magnet, remind people why they should sign up.
Exactly. So effective forms usually have a strong headline, maybe bullet points highlighting what they'll get. Keep it super simple. Often just first name and email is best.
Less friction.
Right. And a really clear, obvious call to action button. Get the guide now or whatever tells them exactly what to do.
Okay, makes sense. And pop-ups, we all know them. Do they actually work?
Well, yeah, love them or hate them, the data suggests they can be effective when used smartly.
Smartly being the key word there.
Totally. There are different kinds, timed ones, scroll-based ones. But the one that got mentioned a lot as being effective is the exit intent pop-up.
Ah, the one that shows up just as you're about to leave the site.
Exactly. The idea is it doesn't interrupt you while you're actually reading or engaging. It's a last chance to offer value before you click away. Less annoying, generally.
Yeah.
Some sources even suggested that for newer sites, maybe being a bit more, shall we say, visible or aggressive with pop-ups initially might be necessary just to get that list building started.
Then maybe dial it back later as you get more established.
Potentially. But the golden rule, no matter what, always offer a compelling lead magnet with the pop-up, a generic subscribe pop-up. Pretty useless.
Right. Okay, so you're doing it right. You've got valuable lead magnets, optimized forms, maybe some smart pop-ups. People are joining your list. You have their email. Job done. Start blasting affiliate offers.
Absolutely not. And this is maybe where the real magic happens or where people miss the boat. Just collecting emails, that's only step one.
The real value, the long-term sustainable income we talked about, comes from what happens next, right?
Exactly. It comes from actively nurturing the relationship with those subscribers, building trust.
Which brings us to things like autoresponders and welcome sequences. Can you unpack those a bit?
Sure. So these are basically automated email sequences. You set them up once, and they trigger automatically when someone new subscribes.
Runs on autopilot. Nice.
Yeah. And their purpose is vital. They start delivering value immediately. They get people used to hearing from you, engaging with your stuff. It makes the whole relationship building thing scalable.
So they're not just getting dumped onto a cold list.
Right. The idea is to nurture them, deliver useful info, build that trust gradually so that when you eventually do have a relevant offer or recommendation, they're actually receptive to it.
And there's a general guideline for the content mix in these sequences and just emails generally, isn't there? Something like 80-20?
Yeah, that ratio comes up a lot. Send genuinely useful, valuable, or entertaining content most of the time, like 80% or even 90% of your emails, things your audience will actually appreciate.
And then the promotional emails, the affiliate offers, make up the smaller chunk, maybe 10 to 20%.
Exactly. Lead with value consistently. That's how you build trust and keep people from hitting unsubscribe.
Okay, but as your list grows, Sending the exact same message to everyone probably stops being effective, right?
Yeah, it really does. We're all drowning in emails. Generic messages just become noise. And sometimes that fake personalization, like just using their first name automatically, it can feel a bit off.
Kind of cringeworthy sometimes.
Right. So this is where segmentation becomes so important. Not just a nice to have, but really crucial for getting results as you scale.
Segmentation. So basically dividing your list into smaller groups.
Exactly. Based on different criteria. The whole point is to send more relevant messages to each group. It allows for real personalization, which leads to better engagement and ultimately higher conversions because you're speaking to their specific interests or needs.
Makes sense. So what kind of criteria are we talking about? How do you actually segment?
Well, you can start simple with demographics or interests they might have told you, but it gets really powerful when you segment based on behavior.
Like what they click on or what pages they visit.
Yeah, exactly. How they interact with your website, what emails they open or click on, maybe even their purchase history if you can track that.
So for example, if your site covers both, say, weight loss and bodybuilding.
You definitely want to segment those audiences.
Yeah.
Sending bodybuilding tips to someone only interested in weight loss, not going to work well.
Right. Any other ways to segment?
Geographic location can be useful for timing emails or local offers. And then there's psychographic segmentation, which is a bit deeper, looking at values, lifestyle, attitudes. Helps you understand why people respond.
Okay, how do you actually get the data to do this?
Your email software tracks opens and clicks. Website analytics track site behavior. Purchase data might come from affiliate platforms or e-commerce integrations. And, well, you can just ask. Surveys or offering different lead magnets for different interests can work too.
And once you have these segments, you can start testing things within them.
Absolutely. A/B testing becomes way more powerful. Test subject lines, calls to action, content angles specifically for your weight loss segment versus your bodybuilding segment, for example. See what resonates best with each group and optimize based on that data.
And some of the more advanced stuff even gets into things like RFM analysis. What's that?
Yeah, recency, frequency, monetary value. It's basically a way to score your subscribers based on how recently they bought or engaged, how often they do, and how much they've spent. It helps you identify your absolute best customers.
Your VIPs, essentially.
Pretty much. And yeah, some sources even touched on AI tools that can analyze patterns and predict who's likely to buy next, allowing for really dynamic, personalized targeting. That's kind of the cutting edge.
Wow. Okay, this leads nicely into another really important distinction that came up. The difference between just a lead, someone who grabbed a freebie,
And someone who has actually bought something through you before. A buyer.
this seemed like a really critical point. There was a phrase that popped up, a buyer is a buyer is a buyer.
Yeah, it really emphasizes the difference. Once someone has actually pulled out their wallet and completed a purchase based on your recommendation, they've crossed a significant trust threshold.
They're way more likely to buy again than someone who's only ever taken free stuff.
Exactly. Which means a list, or even just a segment, of your past customers, your buyer's list, is incredibly valuable. Promoting relevant offers to them is often much easier because that initial trust is already established.
So it's definitely worth figuring out how to identify those buyers on your list, maybe through your affiliate platform data or tagging them in your email system.
For sure. That buyer segment is gold.
Okay, we've covered a lot of the how-tos and the strategy, but let's be real, it's not all smooth sailing, is it? What are some of the challenges or pitfalls people need to watch out for?
Definitely not always easy. A big one discussed is dealing with old, stale lists, like lists you haven't emailed in months or even years.
Yeah, I think we saw a story referenced from a forum or somewhere about someone emailing a 5-year-old list. Disaster, right?
Total disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah.
The dangers are pretty serious. Tons of emails will bounce because the addresses are dead. Engagement will be terrible because people forgot who you are or aren't interested anymore.
You'll get loads of unsubscribes.
And worst case, you could get flagged as a spammer by email providers, your ESP, like MailChimp or ConvertKit or whatever. They can shut down your account, especially if you can't prove those people actually opted in way back when.
So if you do have an old list you want to try and revive, what's the smart way to approach it? Slowly and carefully, I imagine.
Very carefully. First step, absolutely run it through an email verification service. Clean out all the dead addresses before you send anything.
Okay, good tip. Then what?
Start really small. Don't just blast the whole list. Send a re-engagement campaign to a tiny batch first. See what happens.
And that first email back needs to be pure value, right? No selling.
Absolutely. Offer something genuinely useful, maybe related to why they signed up originally, and be upfront. Acknowledge the silence. Be human about it.
Make it super easy to unsubscribe to, I guess. Let people opt out cleanly if they want to.
Definitely. The goal is to re-engage those who are still interested and get explicit permission again, not to annoy everyone else. Focus on cleaning the list and confirming interest, not immediate sales.
And the other big pitfall everyone seems to agree on, don't ever buy email lists. Just don't.
Yeah, that's a universal warning. The quality is almost always terrible. They're full of uninterested people, spam traps. It's a fast track to getting your sending reputation ruined and your account banned. Plus, it violates anti-spam laws.
What about solo ads? That's slightly different, right? Paying someone else to email their list for you.
It is different, yeah. Potentially viable, but still needs extreme caution. You're trusting the quality and permission practices of someone else's list. You really, really need to vet the provider carefully. Not the same as buying a list, but still risky if you're not careful.
Okay, so putting this all together requires some tools and techniques. Let's talk practicalities. Email marketing software seems essential.
Oh yeah, you need a good platform. Key things to look for are solid automation features for those welcome sequences and other triggers. Good list segmentation options are crucial.
Templates too, right? Especially mobile-friendly ones.
Absolutely critical. Most emails are opened on phones now. And good preview tools so you can see how your email looks on different devices and email clients before you send it.
And pricing varies quite a bit between providers, doesn't it? Based on list size or email sent.
Yep, different models. Some charge by subscriber count, others by email volume. And feature sets vary too. Things like advanced A/B testing or complex automation might be on higher tier plans. You need to see what fits your needs and budget.
When it comes to actually writing and sending the emails, any key tips?
Subject lines are huge. Keep them compelling but concise, often under 50 characters is a good guideline. And definitely avoid spammy tactics like all caps or tons of exclamation points.
Mobile optimization, we mentioned. Clear call to action buttons.
Yep, make it obvious what you want them to do next. Consistency in sending helps too, builds expectation. Finding the perfect send time can vary, but some tools have features to help optimize that.
And tracking everything is vital, isn't it?
Absolutely. You need to watch your metrics. Open rates, click-through rates, unsubscribe rates. That data tells you what's working, what's bombing, and where you need to tweak things.
So, bringing it all home. Why go through all this effort? What's the big long-term reward for building your list this way?
It really comes down to building a sustainable, resilient affiliate business. That email list. It's an asset you own. It gives you stability in this constantly changing online world.
Yeah, you're not totally reliant on Google's latest algorithm update or Facebook changing its rules again.
Exactly. And it lets you build that deep trust, those genuine relationships directly with your audience off the rented platforms.
Which, as we said, leads to higher conversion.
And more consistent, predictable affiliate income over time. That's the goal, right?
Plus, it makes your whole online business more valuable if you ever decide to sell it. A buyer will pay a lot more for a business with a healthy, engaged email list.
No question, it's a massive asset.
So to wrap up this deep dive then, building an email list for affiliate marketing, it's clearly way, way more than just collecting addresses.
It's fundamentally about building an owned asset, something stable that protects your business long term.
It's about intentionally cultivating real relationships, building trust, but consistently providing value.
And it's about being smart, segmenting your audience so you can personalize your message and deliver what people actually need and want.
It definitely takes effort, doesn't it? Consistency, the right tools, and a focus on nurturing over just constantly pitching.
Absolutely. It's a long game,
Right.
but the rewards are there.
So maybe here's a final thought for you to chew on as you think about all this for your own efforts. Instead of just focusing on how many subscribers you have,
Ask yourself this. How deep are the relationships you're actually building with the individuals on that list?
and are you genuinely tailoring what you send to serve their specific needs and interests?
Because ultimately, that's where the real, sustainable, long-term success in affiliate marketing truly lies.